It's the end of a busy day, and you relish the feeling of sinking into your long-awaited bed. Lying flat on your back, you allow the muscles throughout your body to soften. Enveloped in the perfectly silent darkness of your bedroom, you suddenly feel separated from your day-to-day worries and responsibilities. Your eyelids are relieved to be closed, and the tension you've been carrying around with you in your neck and shoulders is melting away. You become aware of the subtle automatic movements in your body that normally go unnoticed. The gentle rise and fall of your abdomen as you breathe, and even the faint, rhythmic pulse of your heart beating in your chest. Your breathing slows and becomes shallower. As you begin to drift off, you find yourself in that strange transitional state between wakefulness and sleep, where thoughts and concepts start flowing more loosely, unrestricted by the usual boundaries of waking thought. Your body feels weightless, and there is no longer the sensation of contact between you and the bed. You're floating like a feather on a stream. The darkness behind your closed eyes moves with an elegant fluidity, seemingly synchronized with your breathing and your heartbeat. A bell chimes quietly, piquing your curiosity. Did you imagine the sound, or was it real? It chimes again, quieter still, but you're still none the wiser. You forget about the sound almost immediately as you become transfixed by the hazy images in the darkness of your visual field beneath your eyelids. The darkness seems to be somehow imbued with changing colors, contradictory hues of green, blue, and red, despite retaining an inherent blackness. All of a sudden, some awareness of physical sensations returns, and you feel yourself dropping into your body with a slight jolt. You're lying down now on the soft, peaty ground of a clearing in an ancient woodland. You're looking up at the canopy overhead. It sways gently. You're amazed by the vivid clarity of your surroundings. Each leaf seems to be in super high definition, more real than real. A bud of a new leaf is sprouting from a branch, and you are struck by a sense of awe. You recognize the inconceivable wonder of the natural world in the simplicity of this single bud. You begin to experience how it feels to be emerging into the world from the outreaching arm of the tree. There is a sense of rebirth and renewal, together with a feeling of veneration. From the branch, you allow yourself to expand and unfold, opening up to the sun's rays. You become aware of the chlorophyll that pervades you, absorbing the light, giving you energy. It feels incredible. In this new existence that you find yourself, your experience of time has been transformed. You struggle to even remember how the passing of time usually feels. Now it seems to be moving both extraordinarily quickly, while each moment also seems to be interminable, boundless, eternal. You witness the seasons passing. Spring moves on to summer, and you feel incredibly alive, brimming with energy and warmth. You feel part of the indescribably vast network of life itself, trading oxygen for carbon dioxide with the diverse animal kingdom below you, and soaking up celestial rays from the glowing sphere above you. Summer gives way to autumn, and you feel the youthful energy begin to subside. Deep green fades to yellow, while unabashed exhilaration is replaced by ever-growing wisdom and curiosity. Alas, you pine for those deep shades of green and the vibrant days of summer. From autumn to winter, from yellow to burnt orange to deep red. You feel the colors change. The days are getting shorter and the nights are getting colder. A lifetime of change resides within you, yet you realize deeply that this life is but one cycle in a perpetual, mysterious, wonderful chain. An icy wind blows, and suddenly you are detached from the branch that has held you since those first days of spring. You float down towards the earth until you reach the soft, peaty ground of a clearing in an ancient woodland. Bodily sensations start to return. First, you notice the lightness of your arms and legs. Then you become aware of how comfortable the soft ground is as it supports your head and back. That's when you hear a voice speaking quietly. It's not quite a whisper, but it is quiet enough to make you notice the majestic noises of the forest, the breeze rustling through the leaves, and a multitude of bird calls, near and far. "You've arrived," said the voice. Just like the bell, you're unsure if the sound originates from within your mind or if it is coming from out there in the woods. "Welcome home," the voice quietly says. This prompts you to sit up slowly and look around. The change of position suddenly makes you remember that this is a dream. You look around, and you are awestruck by the vividness and clarity of your surroundings. You normally associate dreams with haziness and a lack of solidity, but now everything seems so alive. You've awoken into a dream that's more clear and more real than life itself. The sun shines through the trees, casting golden beams of light that direct your attention to little purple flowers lining the edge of the clearing, and clusters of red-capped mushrooms with white speckles. You slowly stand up, clearly noticing the feeling of every movement in your legs, arms, and back, and you find it hard to believe that your real body is still laying motionless in bed. You've only taken a few steps forward when behind you, you hear someone clearing their throat. Ahem. You turn around and there's an old woman in a long, gray cloak, standing exactly where you had been sitting. She's motionless, both hands resting on the handle of her walking stick. "Where did you come from?" you ask. "Oh, I've always been here," she replied. You look confused, and the old woman responds to your expression with a smile. "Most of these trees are hundreds of years old, you know," she says. You look around, and your gaze settles on a huge oak tree on the other side of the clearing. Its broad, contorted branches are reaching out to you in a jovial way. You sense its giant system of roots extending far underground, mingling with the vast biological network of the forest. "You feel a connection with the trees too, no?" the old woman prompted. You immediately understand what she means, but you find it difficult to garner a response. "Yes, when I arrived here, I felt..." Words seem to evade you. "It's okay. I understand. You've been raised in a society that has lost touch with its roots. I'm sure you normally have the feeling that you are separate from the rest of nature, but now you've had a glimpse of the truth." You look down at your hands, which have become translucent. You can see the blood coursing through your veins, glowing as if it had absorbed the sun's energy.
In what way can you truly say that you are distinct from the rest of the world around you? The woman continues. You would be nothing without the air, the sun, the plants, the earth, the atmosphere. If any one of these things ceased to exist, then so would you. You are the leaves. You are the sun.
You start to understand what she means. You look up from your hands, making direct eye contact with the woman. In that moment, you feel that she truly knows you. She knows every fiber of your being, every thought, every memory, every desire. There is no judgment, only unconditional acceptance and warmth. There is a wisdom in her eyes that seems ageless.
Follow me,
she says. And with that, she turns around and heads off into the woods behind her. She's surprisingly quick and nimble, which makes you wonder if she really needs that walking stick. You stand watching her move further into the woods for a moment, before having the sudden urge to dash after her before she completely disappears. Jogging through the woods, you again realize the remarkable clarity of your experience. Never before has a dream felt so viscerally real. You feel the breeze against your skin, the crunching of twigs beneath your feet, and the synchronous birdsong. The foliage is greener than green, and it is occasionally spattered with beautiful, colorful flowers. After what seems like an unusually long time for an old woman to be moving so swiftly, you approach another clearing in the woods. This one is much larger than the last, and at the far end, you see a small cottage with a thatched roof.
Here we are,
says the woman. There's a stream running along one side of the clearing, and you can hear the water babbling musically as it runs over the pebbles.
Is this where you live? You ask. I've lived in these woods for a long, long time, she replies.
She's walking more slowly now, using her walking stick to take some of the weight. You walk slightly behind her, appreciating the vastness of the tall trees that circle the clearing, towering over the little cottage. You approach the entrance to the cottage, and the woman pushes the door open and walks in. You follow her and immediately notice the comforting scent from the log fire. The woman props her walking stick against the wall, alongside a collection of other ornately carved walking sticks. She gestures towards a sofa in the middle of the living room, in front of an open fireplace.
Take a seat,
she says, and you do. You glance around the room. The walls are covered in clocks of different shapes and sizes. None of them appear to be ticking, and each displays a different time. You hear a whistling sound, and your attention is drawn to the kitchen, where a kettle is sitting on the hob, steam emerging from the spout.
Just in time,
the woman says.
Tea?
Without waiting for a response, she uses a towel to take the kettle off the heat and pours the hot water into a small cast-iron teapot. A gentle, earthy aroma fills the room as she stirs the tea with a spoon.
Freshly foraged from the forest, she says. Good for the body and the mind.
She picks up the pot and pours the brown, steaming liquid into 2 mugs. She hands you one and sits down in a rocking chair, which creaks gently. You cradle the cup in your hands for a moment, noticing the warmth against your skin. Before you take a sip, you blow on the surface and observe the ripples. You become aware of the scent emanating from the cup. It's a rich and comforting fragrance. You take a sip, and it seems to warm your whole body instantly. It relaxes you and energizes you at the same time, making you become aware of all physical sensations and a feeling of sinking into the sofa. "Why do you have so many clocks?" you ask. She looks around at the clocks for a moment.
"They're a reminder, I suppose. A reminder that time is just a concept. The past is just a memory, and the future is just an expectation. All we ever really have is the present moment."
You look around, and your gaze settles on an ornate cuckoo clock with a small wooden bird protruding from a little door, seemingly frozen in time, as if to demonstrate the woman's point.
"You might be so caught up in the stories of your past and your future, and it can be difficult to connect fully with the present moment. But it is always available to us. If you can learn to be right here, right now, with complete presence, it's like waking up from a dream you didn't realize you were having. It just takes practice, that's all."
"How do I learn?" you ask.
"It's really very simple," she replies. "We can practice now if you like. Close your eyes."
You feel a bit uncertain at first, but then you put your mug down, lean back into the sofa, and gently let your eyelids close.
Take some deep breaths, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Let the act of breathing ground you. There's nothing you need to do. Just settle into the physical sensations of the body.
You follow the instructions, and on each exhalation, you feel your muscles becoming more relaxed, as if tension is leaving your body as you breathe out.
Now take a moment to become consciously aware of how it feels to be you. Notice how it feels to be the experiencer in this moment. Is there a difference between experience and experiencer? Or is there just the experience itself, appearing as one flowing process?
Your body feels lighter and lighter as you sit with a clear and open awareness of feelings and sensations. The woman continues.
Keep your attention on the nature of experience itself. If thoughts appear, observe them clearly and return to an open awareness of your experience in the present moment.
You somehow feel a shift in perspective, like your center of gravity has changed from your head to your whole body. Your consciousness feels expansive and boundless. You feel a connection with the rest of the world. It becomes a blissful experience, and there is a sensation of warmth coursing through your body. The boundary between you and the space around you seems to dissolve and merge. You realize that you have no idea how much time it has been since you closed your eyes, or since the woman last spoke. You open your eyes. The woman is gone. You sit motionless for a few moments, appreciating your renewed and seemingly enhanced awareness of bodily sensations. Then you stand up and look around.
"Hello?"
you say to the empty room. You feel the need to go back to the clearing in the woods where you arrived. You stand up and move towards the door. Things are starting to feel less clear, and your body feels heavier, making it less easy to move. You pick up one of the walking sticks by the door. It helps slightly, but walking has become an effort. You feel like your muscles are getting ready to go to sleep, but you have a growing urge to get back to where you started, so you press on. You notice the season has started to change. Many of the leaves have changed to rusty autumnal colors, and the ground is blanketed with the ones that the trees have already discarded.
"How long was I in there?" you wonder.
As you head back in the direction from which you came, you feel like you are simultaneously moving faster and more slowly than when you arrived. You pass the babbling stream. You walk through the shaded woodland. You hear the chirping birds. You feel the crunching of twigs beneath your feet. You see the purple flowers and red-capped mushrooms. The jovial oak tree waves at you. Now that you've arrived back at the clearing, you pause and rest on the walking stick. There's a dark shape in the center of the clearing, but you can't work out what it is. You approach it slowly until you realize that it's a person. They seem to be just laying there, looking up at the sky through the canopy. You suddenly have the strong feeling that you know this person, and that this is exactly where they're supposed to be. They are part of you, and part of this forest.
"You've arrived," you say. "Welcome home."
At the sound of your voice, they sit up, but they are facing away from you. You take a few steps closer, and they stand up. They don't seem to notice that you are behind them. You clear your throat to announce your presence. They turn around. "Where did you come from?" they ask.
"Oh, I've always been here," you reply.